I got a fever, and the only prescription is more pass rush. That's right. You guys know, if you've been watching me for any amount of time, that the pass rush is something that I have been craving for when it comes to our team. And while we didn't, we did do quite a bit at the pass rush at the defensive line. Okay. We didn't necessarily get that guy, but we got a bunch of those guys. And in my previous video, I alluded to, as my mustache is stabbing me in the nose here, I just trimmed it last night, but I guess it has a mind of its own. As I made a reference to the 04 Pistons in my last video, I think that's what the Detroit Lions are. Their defensive line are the 04 Pistons. And what the 04 Pistons were was a bunch of throwaways. You had Chauncey Billups, who had been on a couple of teams. You had Rip Hamilton. You had Ben Wallace, who was pretty much a nobody. You had Rasheed Wallace, who brought it all together. And this team toppled the giant Goliath that was the Los Angeles Lakers. And I'm wondering if the Detroit Lions and their defensive line are going to be like the 04 Pistons, where there was a guy that when we first heard kind of some rumors that the Detroit Lions could be looking at him, I think I was the first one to talk, one of the first guys to make a video about him. His name is Matthieu Betts, the reigning defensive player of the year in the CFL. 18 sacks in 18 games. So not only does he play one more game than he did in the NFL than he will in the NFL, he got basically a sack a game on top of winning defensive player of the year. Now, he's been in the NFL before. I don't think he made a 53-man roster. He was undrafted, but it's not how you start, right? It's how you finish. And he has an opportunity to not only make the Detroit Lions 53-man roster, but also make an impact on the team. Could he be that diamond in the rough? There's been a lot of undrafted players that not only come in and make a name for themselves, make an impact on the team, but wind up in the Hall of Fame. You got Kurt Warner bagging groceries, right? And other Danny Amendola, a multiple Super Bowl champion who was on our team. So you can get guys that were undrafted that come in, and make an impact and wind up changing the whole trajectory of their career. Will Matthieu Betts be one of those individuals? Now, early on, a lot of you guys didn't think he was going to make the team. Okay. I personally believe he will. I think he could beat out a guy like James Houston. Listen, I know I'm just saying, but you got to understand something. I'm not coming from a place of hate. I'm coming from a place that if Matthieu Betts was to beat out James Houston, and I'm going to tell you how this can happen as your guys are typing away. This is what I hear. I bet you're doing this. I bet you're doing that in the comment section. I'm not hating, trust me. All right. I've said what I had to say about not only the pass rush, but James Houston. As I'm going to show you exactly why he could do that. Okay. Why could Matthieu Betts not only make the 53-man roster, but push off James Houston? But what I want you guys to know is if James Houston by some chance doesn't make the 53 and Matthieu does, that means that our team has gotten better. That's all that means. It's not a knock on James. It is the fact that our team has gotten better. But Dan Campbell, and I wanted to make this video yesterday, Dan Campbell talked about Matthieu Betts, and here's what he had to say when he was asked about Matthieu Betts. Let's check it out.
About Betts.
About Betts?
Yeah.
I would tell you there again, we're in pajamas, but there's more versatility to this guy than I think I even realized. There's a couple things we're doing in coverage with him that, that wasn't his deal. He just got after the quarterback, period. And we're asking him to do some things kind of at the Sam linebacker position in base to where, yeah, he's a rush, but he's also dropping in coverage. He's matching a little bit. And I tell you what, he's got some pretty good hips for a big man, and he can run. He can run, and he's smart. So there's some versatility there. And special teams, yes, sir.
I don't know if you picked it up, ladies and gentlemen. If you picked it up, he said something that does make him a difference between James Houston. Don't forget, James Houston in that Kansas City Chiefs game was put out in coverage, and I was sitting in the nosebleeds, but I could see a little bit. And James, that is not his strong suit. That's not his strong suit. Matthieu Betts, they're asking this guy to do more than just rush the passer, not rough the passer, get to the passer, but not rough the passer. But they're asking him to do more than just do that. And one of the things that they're asking him to do, potentially, as I thought I switched cameras before to the other one, but to the wide shot, but now we're close up, which is fine. Now they're asking him to do stuff he didn't do in the CFL, which is drop back in coverage. Okay. And some of the best kind of rushing linebackers will drop back in coverage. We've seen Aiden Hutchinson not only do it, but do it to perfection, getting 3 interceptions in his, what was it, 3? Right? It was 3 interceptions in his rookie year, right? I don't think it was 4, it was 3. But Hutch is one of those guys. And what did Dan say? He said he was fast and he's got he can move and he got that hip action, right? He got that hip action. So Matthieu Betts, I would love this story to have a happy ending. To have a happy ending where this guy makes the 53-man roster. There's nothing better than a second chance and another opportunity. And just like the UFL, that's what the CFL, well, the CFL is can do that as well, but the UFL is really designed to do exactly that. So, Matthieu Betts, I got a lot of faith. My hopes are very high for Matthieu. They really are, because I want a dog. I want a guy. We have Aiden Hutchinson, and I know Marcus Davenport. I know what he has done. I know what he's capable of doing. I just don't trust him, and I don't trust him to stay healthy. This guy, Matthieu Betts, comes off an 18-game season, gets a sack a game, all right, is asked to play another 17 in the NFL, and he's probably going to do just that. So I will tell you what, based on what Dan Campbell just said, all those other guys better watch out. They better watch out. Marcus Davenport, James Houston. If you are on the fringe, now Marcus will probably be there. There's no doubt about it. James will probably be there. But a guy like Kaminsky that we just talked about, if you're a depth player, not necessarily a bubble piece, but a depth player, because I don't think we got a ton of bubble pieces on our team. I think we already know kind of who. I know Dan Campbell said yesterday that they have no idea who's going to be in the starting lineup on defense, right? But I think that we kind of know that Wingo will most likely make it, and who our 53-man roster will kind of be. It's those practice squad guys that we're talking about, right? So for me, I can't wait to see him. And I think very similar to 2022 when we were watching Malcolm Rodriguez. It's funny because Malcolm Rodriguez was the darling of training camp. We didn't hear anything about James Houston. James Houston was a mid-season story that took the world by storm. I'm going to be watching. Every year you kind of watch a handful of players. This year specifically, my eye is going to be on Matthieu Betts. He's the guy that I'm going to be watching like a hawk during this offseason. Probably a receiver or two as well. But what would you say? Do you think, first of all, put it in the comment section below, do you think Matthieu Betts will make the 53-man roster? If so, do you think he will have an impact? I'm going to say he's going to make the 53-man roster. And I'm going to say that he's going to have more of an impact than you may think. That's going to be what my philosophy on Matthieu Betts. But let me know in the comments below, what did you feel about Dan Campbell's words? And I'm telling you, James Houston better watch out, man. Now, contrary to what you think, James Houston did not get hurt in coverage. Well, he was on coverage in special teams. But before that, he was dropping back in coverage, and that's not his thing. That's not his thing. And if Matthieu Betts, who we know can rush the passer, if he can make that part of his repertoire, he gonna be scary. So, I mean, obviously we know the boy can rush the passer. We know that. But if he can do something else, I'm telling you, man, I like that kind of mentality, though, that dog mentality, that underdog mentality. Some people do their best work when they're underestimated. So let me know your thoughts on Matthieu Betts. Will he make the 53-man roster? Will he make an impact of any sort in 2024? I would love to see how his story is going to unfold. Consider subscribing to the YouTube channel as well on a push to get to 21,000. And I know some of y'all watch me. Y'all come back time and time again. Yesterday, I looked at my returning viewers and it's crazy. As a matter of fact, in my very next video, I'm going to show you just how crazy it is. It is off the chart. So if you are a returning viewer who is not easily offended, okay, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. We got a lot of stuff going on. We're going to react to the games coming up during the dead period. And don't forget, Amon-Ra St. Brown receiver is coming out in July. So keep an eye on that. That's going to be a good time. Well, so consider subscribing as we get close to the NFL season. I believe we have 95 days until the NFL season resumes. And I think that's Romeo Okwara's old number. I don't know who's wearing 95 now. Put it in the comments below. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.